Have you noticed from time to time there is a blue light right next to the word fix on your Husqvarna Viking Brilliance 75Q sewing machine? I'm going to explain how this works, when to use it, and when not to use it. And this is just part of the free video tutorial series that we have done on this machine. So if you own this machine, make sure you find the link in the description below where you can watch all the videos and master this machine from start to finish. Now this is one question I get a lot from students. What's fix? And I sometimes joke around that, I wish that actually meant fix dinner, but it doesn't. Okay, so fix is a term Husqvarna Viking uses as a lock stitch. So the reason it's on right now is because the last thing I did when I was on my last piece of fabric is I touched the scissor button. It cut my thread, it lifted my foot, and I pulled my fabric out. Then the fix button is lit up. And that's because partially we do not have a bobbin thread that's on top of our throat plate right now. We just have the needle thread. So part of the fix, or the 1, 2, 3, the locking part of the first couple stitches it takes on my next seam is to make sure that the bobbin thread gets pulled up and into the seam. So it just makes sure that everything connects and I don't have to hold these threads, I don't have to back stitch, so that's actually another reason to use the fix button. So as you see, the light went off, I'm going up and down, 3, 4, 5, and then it goes forward. Now, as I stop, if I want it to just do a locking stitch right there, I can actually activate it. Now, I'm going to show you that you can activate it while it's not moving, but you'll get a different result if you push the fix button while you're sewing. Okay, so let's just watch what happens. I've activated the fix button. You're going to see a locking stitch. The light goes off, and then it keeps going. Okay, so it doesn't stop it, because we didn't tell it to stop, number one. But you just asked it to do some locking stitches right there, but then you kept your foot on the foot control, so it starts to sew. If you want it to fix at the end of something, you can touch it while you're sewing, lock it. I've got my foot on the foot control, and it actually stops. So that is some way to get things to lock without having to use the reverse button, which by the way is this kind of upside down U-turn arrow here where it actually backs up and goes forward. But the fix is actually something, I will tell you, it took me a few times to figure out when I was supposed to push it, when it does what, and why does it sometimes keep sewing. And so I would understand how to integrate the fix button, the locking feature, into the way I like to sew. So I would say to take the time, there's no other way to explain this. You can hear it and then go, okay, but then until you do it, it really doesn't make sense. So I will tell you, next time you sit down, just take a little piece of fabric, fold it in half, 2 layers, remember, touch the fix button, have it lock, try it while you're sewing, have it lock and stop, and just kind of try it also with a decorative stitch and see how you can get it to lock when you want it to lock, when you don't want it to lock. And then remember, you can go over to the settings, so the set menu, touch the menu button, touch the little gears at the bottom of that column, and then go over to the needle and scissors and fix auto. So you can actually turn that off so it doesn't turn on unless you activate it. So you notice that like here, let's go ahead. If I touch the scissor button, it would have turned it on, but because we have turned it off, it does not lock when I start to sew. It's just gonna go ahead and start stitching and not leave you that little extra lock. I know sometimes people don't want that, so that's how you can make that not at the beginning, not be there. And so I am going to turn it back on. I do like it to lock at the beginning, and then I don't even have to think about it. But just note, whether you push it while it's on, I should say when it's moving or not moving, will give you 2 different options. I hope you'll find in the description below the link for all the free video tutorials on this machine, and you can start watching all of them from the beginning in the playlist we've created.